Hello dear students, welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Joginder Rohila and today in this video I am going to discuss with you about crystal field theory. Crystal field theory CFT. Crystal field theory was given by H. Bethe and V. Black. Crystal field theory, if we compare with valence bond theory, valence bond theory was based on covalent approach. Bonding between the metal ion and the ligand was purely covalent in nature. Bonding was coordinate covalent bond. But in case of crystal field theory, the bonding between the metal ion and the ligand is purely electrostatic in nature, or you can say bonding is 100% ionic in nature. And in case of crystal field theory, whether metal ion is there or ligand is there, whether a negative ligand is there or a neutral ligand, all of these things, metal ions and ligands, are considered as the point charges, and ion and ion interaction may be there, or ion and dipole interaction may be there. So crystal field theory is quite different from valence bond theory. Based on the approach, it is electrostatic, and that approach was covalent approach. Now the question is, why it is called crystal field theory? Crystal field theory, हम क्यों बोलते हैं इसे crystal field theory? In case of a complex, suppose simply if I write a general complex, suppose manganese in combination with water molecules, and suppose that is, you can take any complex. Metal is present in the center and ligands are approaching to the central metal ions, leading to the formation of a particular geometry. So what happens in a complex? The electrons of the central metal ions, suppose in this complex, the electrons of the d orbitals, electrons of the central metal ion in the lattice of the crystal are under the influence of negative charge of the ligands, and that negative charge of the ligands, or simply you say non-spherical electric field of the ligands, that non-spherical electric field of the ligands which influence the electrons of the metal ions in the lattice of the crystal is called the crystalline field, and simply we say this is crystal field theory. We can consider like this: electrons of the metal ions are under the influence of non-spherical electric field of the ligands, and that electric field on interaction with the electrons of the metal ions leading to the formation of some energy consideration, energy changes, which are responsible for so many properties in the complex. Okay, let's explain the basic assumptions of crystal field theory. What are the basic assumptions of crystal field theory? First point, the central metal atom is surrounded by ligands with a lone pair of electrons. Lone pair of electrons, like coordination complex. A metal ion is surrounded by number of ligands. Those ligands are having lone pair of electrons, and according to this crystal field theory, all metal ions and ligands are considered as point charges. Whether that is a metal ion or a ligand, that will be considered as the point charges, and the interaction is purely electrostatic, or you can say the bonding is 100% ionic. 100% ionic. In case of crystal field theory considers that bonding between the metal ion and the ligand is 100% ionic, and that bonding can be according to the interactions of ion-ion interaction, or that can be according to ion and dipole interaction. There may be ion-ion interaction, or there may be ion and dipole interaction, What is this? Let's try to understand it. Ion-ion interaction means when a metal ion is surrounded by negatively charged ligands, the interaction between them is ion-ion interaction. Metal ion with positive charge and ligands with negative charge, that interaction is ion-ion interaction. In case of ion dipole, when metal ion with positive charge is surrounded by a neutral molecule, like when a metal ion is in contact or in surrounding of, suppose ammonia is a ligand. We know that ammonia is neutral molecule. It is having one positive pole and negative pole. In this case, it is nitrogen is negatively charged and hydrogen is positively charged. In case of neutral molecule, the negative end of the dipole in a particular site that is directed towards the metal ion. So there can be ion dipole interactions. And in crystal field theory, that electric field of the ligands, that non-spherical electric field based on the particular geometry or based on number of ligands, that electric field will influence the energies of outer orbitals of that metal ions, and in most of the cases that outer orbital is d orbital, because most of the transition metal form so many complexes with the ligands, and we explain the geometry and some other properties based on crystal field theory. So electric field of the ligands will influence the energies of the d orbitals of the metal ions, we can say. Now suppose in case of a free metal ion, if we want to understand the energy changes when ligands are approaching to the central metal ion, let us see the case. Suppose a metal ion is there and it is surrounded by number of ligands. Suppose if I want to show to you an octahedral complex, 6 ligands are there. These are approaching towards the metal ions, x-axis, y-axis and z-axis. Now electrons are present in the d orbitals of the metal ion. Suppose this is a transition metal, and what happens if in a standard condition, if I consider, suppose if metal ion is free, it is not surrounded by any ligand, in that case electrons present in d orbital are degenerate. Those orbitals are degenerate in nature because electrons can occupy any of the orbital that is not affected by the electric field of the ligands, because that is free ion. And if we consider that ligands are approaching to the central metal ion, and ligands are approaching to the central metal ion, and these ligands are approaching to the central metal ion to the equal extent from all the directions they are approaching, what will happen? The negative charge of the electrons present in the d orbitals, suppose this d orbitals that will interact with the negative charge of the ligands. Whether the ligand is ionic or the ligand is neutral, the negative charge of the ligand will interact with the negative charge of the electrons present in the outer d orbitals. Now due to that interaction, what will happen? There is raise in the energy of the system. Now if I consider all the ligands are approaching equally, it means all the orbitals are facing equal interaction with the ligands, and the energies of all the orbitals gets raised, and the energies of all the orbitals are raised in the energy. It means all orbitals are again of equal energy. They will be called degenerate orbitals. But if the ligands approaching to the central metal ion are not according to a spherical manner, they are approaching to the central metal ion according to the geometry. Which type of geometry? Whether that is a tetrahedral, square planar or octahedral complex. And we know that d orbitals are having different orientations. We know dxy, dyz, dx square minus y square and dz square. Different orbitals are having different geometry, different orientations in the space. So when ligands are approaching, it depends on the interactions or availability of the orbital to the ligands, that which orbitals will raise its energy and which orbital will not raise. So in case of crystal field theory, when negatively charged ligands approach to the central metal ion, it depends on the interaction, whether the electrons present in orbitals are directed towards the ligands or they are away from the ligands. So based on the electric field of the ligands, the energies of the d orbitals will be further splitted. That will be splitted, and this is called crystal field splitting. So what is crystal field splitting? There is a term, crystal field splitting. Crystal field splitting. What is crystal field splitting? The splitting of degenerate d orbitals under the influence of electric field of the ligands, so that degenerate orbitals get splitted into two sets of different energies. That is called crystal field splitting. And remember, this crystal field splitting is responsible for explaining so many properties in a complex. Whether we want to explain spectra, we want to explain magnetic properties or any other spectroscopic properties regarding the complex, this splitting of d orbitals is responsible for explaining so many properties, which is explained by crystal field theory. And number of ligands in case of crystal field theory, number of ligands, how many ligands are there, and what is the arrangement of the ligands, what is the geometry around the central metal ion, number of ligands, coordination number of the metal ions, geometry, arrangement of the ligands around the central metal ion, that will determine the energy changes in the outer d orbitals of the metal ions in case of crystal field theory. So dear students, crystal field theory is a particular theory with ionic interaction that considers all metal ions and ligands as point charges. Bonding among them is purely 100% ionic, and the negative charge of the ligands on interaction with the negative charge of the electrons present in the d orbitals, they will raise the energy of the system. As a result, the d orbital gets split into different sets of orbitals, and that splitting is responsible for so many properties, like whether the complex is paramagnetic or diamagnetic. And in order to understand exact crystal field splitting in different complexes like octahedral complexes, tetrahedral complexes, square planar complexes, first of all we need to understand the orientation of d orbitals, because most of the transition metal complexes are having d orbitals which are in interaction with the ligands. So let's discuss the shapes of the d orbitals. In your previous classes, you have discussed the shapes of d orbitals. How many orbitals of d subshell are there? 5 d orbitals. Okay, 5 d orbitals. Can you name those orbitals? dxy, dyz, dzx, dx square minus y square, and dz square. These are 5 different orbitals. Do you know the shapes of these orbitals? It is very important to understand the shapes of d orbitals. If we want to understand crystal field theory, only by knowing the shapes of the d orbitals we can understand and explain the crystal field theory in a very effective manner. Dear students, what is the shape of dxy orbital? Suppose this is x-axis, this is y-axis. We say that probability of finding the electron is in the plane of xy, but these lobes of d orbitals are in between x and y. The electron density is not present on principal axis. Electron density is not present on x-axis and y-axis. That is present in between the principal axis x, y. This is dxy. And what is the shape of dyz? Suppose if you say that this is z, this is yz. Again, you can show like this. You can show like this. This is dyz. And what is the shape of dxz? If you make these as x and z axis, this is dzx or dxz. And in case of dx square minus y square, this is x axis, this is y axis. Electron density is present on x axis and y axis. This is dx square minus y square. And in case of dz square, electron density is present on z axis, and some electron density is also present in dxy. Suppose this is z axis. This is called dz square. Mainly electron density is present on z axis, and it is also present in a circular manner around in the xy plane also. Okay, dear students, in this case electron density is present in dxy. Let's try to understand what is dxy. This is dxy plane, dx axis and y axis. Like this board is before you, that is dxy plane. In this dxy plane, electron density is not present on principal axis. That is present in between principal axis. This is like this. If I want to say dyz, what is dyz? What is this? Suppose I want to show like this. This is, what is this? This is y axis and this is z axis. If I consider this is x axis, this is y axis, and z axis is towards the observer, that is towards the observer, only then you can understand it properly. This is dxy, dx dy. Okay, now what is this? Can you see? This is y axis, this is z axis towards the observer. If I show the plane like this, this is dyz, and this is x axis, and this is towards the observer. This is z. This is xz plane. So electron density is present like this in between the x and z, in between the y and z, in between the x and y. But remember, electron density is not present on principal axis. Whether we talk about dxy, dyz and dzx, all these three orbitals are having same behavior. Their electron density is present in between the principal axis. But in case of dx square minus y square, electron density is not present in between. Electron density is present along x-axis and y-axis. It is like this. You are seeing like this, x-axis, y-axis. Electron density is exactly on the principal axis. And you can understand it. If you rotate dxy orbital around z-axis at an angle of 45 degree, you will find dx square minus y square. And in case of dz square orbital, it is also having electron density on principal axis. This is principal axis. Suppose this is z axis. You can take it like this. If you want to understand it like this, if this is z axis, electron density is like this. And then this is xy plane. The electron density is like this. If you put this, if this is z axis, electron density is like this. And electron density is around x and y plane in a circular manner. So remember, out of these 5 orbitals, these 3 orbitals are having electron density in between the principal axis, and these 2 orbitals are having electron density on the principal axis. Based on this availability of electron density, they will behave differently in case of transition metal complexes. When a ligand approaches to the central metal ion, and central metal ions, electrons are present in these orbitals. In which orbital the electron is present? Which orbital is directed towards the ligands? The interaction or raising of energy, or how much splitting will be there, that will depends on the interaction of the ligands with the orbitals of the central metal ion. So dear students, we will discuss in the next video about splitting, crystal field splitting of octahedral complexes. Before that, you will try to understand what exactly crystal field theory is and what exactly the shapes of d orbitals are. Only then we can easily understand the crystal field theory. Okay, keep watching my video. Try to understand the concept. If you like the video, share and subscribe with your friends. Thank you very much. Best wishes.